Hey everyone, it's Dale from Houseplant Journal. So the other day on Instagram, I posted this video showing how I propagated a couple of succulent leaves. Now, I got a lot of questions because it seems to work super easy for some people, but for some others, they try, and never really get anything to happen. So today, I want to bring you some clarity on exactly how this works. Let's go. So here I am in the basement of my parents' house in the downstairs bathroom, and I've kind of taken over the shower down here as my propagation station. So the first step is to get healthy leaves from your succulent. Here I used a bunch of Echeveria leaves, and I just ripped off some of the bottom leaves. You can cut them off if you want, but ripping them off is just fine. And some people say you have to leave the cut to scab over, but I didn't do that. I just put them onto the soil. And the type of soil I used is your standard cactus soil. And I have them here in a dish that actually it's a very shallow dish, no drainage holes at all, because that's not even all that critical. The most critical thing to get this to work is the light and the warmth. So first, let's talk about light. I will say this, if you want to start using grow lights, then you really have to get yourself a light meter, because it would be like trying to buy a car that you don't know how fast you're going, or buying an oven where you can't set the temperature. I mean, grow light manufacturers can tell you the output of their lights, but when you actually use it, you won't necessarily put it at exactly the height that they tell you or the distance of your plant to that light. So you need to have a light meter in order to make sense of your actual situation. And not only that, then you'll be able to understand natural light as well and just see how different it can be. So these succulents here in the middle are getting about 700 foot candles, 680, 690. Even different places underneath this light will be different intensities. So basically, I can say for sure that these succulents are getting 600 to 700 foot candles for 12 hours of the day, because this grow light is on for 12 hours and off for 12 hours. And the other thing is this heat mat, which raises the temperature a little bit, and usually warmer temperatures encourage faster photosynthesis and faster root growth. And so I got a little thermometer here. It's reading 27.6 degrees. So that means right above this heat mat, the temperature is, close to a warm summer day. What is that in Fahrenheit? Let me check for you. 81.6 Fahrenheit. So once I've ensured that it's getting adequate light and encouraging it to grow faster with a bit of warmth, now I can just water it. And really, I just eyeball when the soil is mostly dry, then I water it. This is just plain old tap water, room temperature. I just observe, and whenever the soil is completely dry, then I water it, and I just pour water about that much. Now, after the first few months, this soil will probably be running out of nutrients. And in fact, that's the reason why there's a difference between the size of the ones grown in these two outer plates and this one in the middle is so much bigger, because it was about month 3 that I added a little bit of fertilizer into this plate, and wasn't anything special. I just found that I had this package here of chicken poop. Pure hen manure is what I had here. And I just followed the directions on here in terms of how much to put in. Now, of course, all these directions are given in terms of like gallons of soil, So, I just did a rough estimate and put like 3 or 4 pellets into this soil. Now, the other interesting thing that I did is I had a couple extra leaves and I just put them beside the grow light. So effectively, they weren't really getting much light at all. And what you can see here is obviously they're all dead right now. But during the first few months, I could see that these guys here were just not really doing anything, whereas all the ones here under the grow light were starting to root. So it's very important to understand exactly how much light is enough. And when we're dealing with light, we need to be more specific than just sun and no sun. Right here, especially when we're using a grow light, I have to measure it in order to know how much light this succulent is getting. And to give you some context, 600 foot candles, uh, it would be in front of a very, very large north-facing window with no sun, but just a big view of the sky. It gives you approximately that much. Now, the issue is you're not going to get 12 hours worth of that in a north-facing window because obviously, as the sun is lower in the sky, the overall sky is darker, so it's really going to kind of go up and down with the day. However, when you measure direct sun, meaning the sun shines directly onto the light sensor, now we're into like between 2,000 and 6,000 foot candles if this is through a window. And if we're outside, now you're dealing in the range of 10,000. My point is, in order to make sense of light, in order to gauge it correctly, you really have to have a light meter. And especially if you're going to start investing in grow lights, you really need to get one because otherwise you're like just using it blindly. So if you want to try this using natural light, your best bet is probably going to be right in front of a south-facing window or the window that receives a couple hours of direct sun. But maybe use a white sheer curtain to block it so that we're not getting the full intensity of the sun. We're getting somewhere closer in the range of 1,000 to 2,000 foot candles. When you have this light correct, then you can just water whenever the soil is completely dry. Now, the reason why I don't specify a frequency is because that time frame will vary depending on your light. Finally, after about 2 or 3 months in the same soil, you're going to want to add some fertilizer and just add it in whatever amount is directed for that fertilizer. So I hope this video brought you some clarity on succulent propagation. Yeah, you should really give it a try. It's lots of fun. I'm Daryl from Houseplant Journal. Thanks for watching. Bye. Well, this guy's toast.